If you want your website to stand out in your local area so you can take full advantage of being found in local search, you're gonna need some great content to make that happen, but it can get real confusing. What kind of content can I make and how can I get it to work for getting my business found? In this video, I'm gonna break it all down and make it super simple. And I've got some great ideas you can take and run away with today so you can confidently start creating the content and then getting the results you want. I'm Wes McDowell, a web strategist at The Deep End, and this is the channel where I show you how to use your website and what's working now in digital marketing to supercharge your customer growth so you can make more money and build a business you love to show up for every day. And the first is articles about your niche and your local area. So one of the easiest and best things you can do to tie you to your local market is to write an article for your blog that covers a topic that relates both to your business and to your local area. So start thinking of ways you can do this. Maybe your city or your state or your region is different somehow than other places, making what you offer even more important or more challenging. Like, let's say if you were a veterinarian and you lived in a place that's especially prone to ticks, you might want to write an article about how to prevent your dog getting ticks in Houston. Or, maybe there's a new tax law passed in your state and you're an accountant. You might want to write an article about how to keep your deductions with California's new tax laws. All right, next we have case studies or success stories featuring local customers. So another great way to keep things local is to talk about your successes you've gotten for your local customers. This can come in the form of case studies where you basically show the problem you solved or the transformation you made for someone in your area. You can use geotagged photos of your local customers, with their permission, of course, and you for sure want to mention the city or neighborhood that they're from. Just including that local information is going to help search engines place you in a specific local area, which is just great for ranking locally. All right, next we have sponsored content for local micro-influencers. So every city, even smaller towns, if you live in one of those, do have social media influencers. So if you're obviously in New York or LA, that means actual influencers. You've got the big guns there. But smaller markets have what we call micro-influencers, which are basically local social media, celebrities who are well known enough in the area that their posts get seen by lots of locals. Now, even if you're in a bigger city like Manhattan or LA or something like that, you still want to focus on those micro-influencers because they're actually going to be affordable for you to engage with. So think of people who have lots of followers on Instagram or Twitter or even host a local podcast. And the good news is here, you don't need to create the content yourself for this one. All you got to do is work out a deal with a micro-influencer or two and decide if you want them to post from your business, like where you actually are, or just enjoying your product or service on their own, or just talking about it. It could be a review or even just a shout out letting people know you're there. So just do a little research to find the best candidates and then reach out to them with your ideas. And they'll likely have a few ideas of their own too. All right, next we have numbered listicles featuring your local area. So if you want some local buzz, nothing is more share-worthy than what we call a listicle, which is just combining an article with a list. So people share these numbered list articles more than double than they share articles without a number in the title. Not only that, but once they're shared, they're much more likely to be actually clicked on and read. So think about the top 10 places or bars or events, dog parks, anything specific, whatever in your city that you could feature in a list like that. But of course you want to keep it related somehow to what you offer. It can't just be totally random, so that you can tie your service back into it somewhere in the list. So let's say you own a deli, okay? You might want to write a listicle about the top 10 romantic picnic spots in your town of Pasadena, for example. All right, next we have FAQs. So people are always after first page Google rankings, and everybody wants to be number one in their area, but what if you could be above that and take position 0? So there are many questions people ask Google and even of their smart speakers like, Alexa, I don't want to say it too loud, that they like to answer with a hand-picked best answer. And they tend to show localized answers to people if it applies. So think of the questions that you could answer that people might be asking. Then just put that in your FAQs and answer it succinctly and completely preferably in one short paragraph. All right, next we have landing pages for every location you have. And this obviously only applies if you have multiple locations, but if you do, you want to have these separate location pages for every storefront or every retail place you have. This lets each page be ranked in local search results, resulting in higher rankings for your local pages. And this is going to help you in the standard search results, but mostly it's going to help you rank in those highly coveted 3 map listings. And for more details on how to create those location pages, just click right up here to see what needs to be included and a complete tutorial. All right, next, guest post on local blogs. So this isn't content you'd create for your own site, but rather it's content you'd make for a blog that covers your local area. You basically write an article relating to what you offer in some way. Make sure you keep it helpful rather than promotional. And then you can write about how to do something, advice, tips, a checklist, whatever makes sense. Just make sure it relates to your local area somehow as well. And then try to pitch it to a few local blogs. And the way guest posting works is that you basically provide them with valuable content, and then they should provide you in return with a link back to your site, usually in the bio. And this is great for local SEO because it's not just a backlink, which is valuable on its own, but it's from a local blog, which gives it much more geographical weight. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is how you can start proactively generating leads for your local business with 3 of my best proven lead generation funnels made just for local businesses like yours. So just click right up here to watch that video, and then just pick one of the 3 and you can't go wrong. Trust me, they're all game changers. So click right up here and I'll see you in a second.